Good morning, Spanish 1 students at Edmonson County High School. I wanted to take this time to do a really cheesy, really low quality video to help explain to you some of the things about the stem changing verbs for NTI days 11, 12, and 13, I believe it is, on your schedule. Let me check right here. Yes, for 11, 12, and 13. How do we do stem changing verbs? Well, it's really easy and really quick, okay? So let me show you this. Number one, know this. There are 3 types of stem changing verbs, right? There are E to IE, there are O to UE, and there are E to I. A really good smartboard here, right? 3 kinds of stem changing verbs. Now here's the deal about stem changing verbs. Here's what you need to know. When we conjugate a regular verb, right? Let's take hablar, our normal verb that we always talk about, right? So you have hablar, and we know hablar means to talk or to speak, right? So we have hablar. And when we conjugate hablar, we get rid of the AR ending, right? And we add new endings, and those endings tell us who's doing this action. So, for example, you have hablo, right? So I speak or I talk. And then you have hablas and habla and hablamos. Then we have habláis and hablan, right? So we have those. Now, ERs and IRs work the same, only ERs have E's instead of the A's here at the endings, and IRs really want to be ERs, right? And so they're the same everywhere except nosotros and vosotros, where they have I's instead of E's. Now, with stem changing verbs, here's the deal with them. There's an extra step. With stem changing verbs, there's a vowel in the stem that's going to change as well, right? So it's not just the ending. There's a vowel in the stem as well. For instance, I'm looking at your homework here for NTI Day 11, you had pensar. Now, pensar is an E to I stem changer, right? So with pensar, we always mark it like this so that you know it's a stem changer, right? It's an E to I stem changer. That means that this E inside the stem is going to change to IE when we conjugate it. Now, the endings are going to stay the same, just like they always have been with AR verbs. So, for instance, pensar means to think, so I think is pienso. Notice that the E has changed to IE, pienso. The to form then is going to be piensas. Right? Piensas. The E changes to IE. The usted form, piensa, the E changes to IE. Nosotros is pensamos. Now notice this one. The E does not change to IE, it stays the same. For vosotros, pensáis. The E doesn't change here either, it stays the same, it doesn't change. For ustedes, it's piensan. Uh-oh, it changed again, okay? Now, you've seen this pattern before. The boobs. We call stem changing verbs boot verbs for a reason. They change inside the boot. So if it's an E to IE stem changer, it's going to change inside the boot. Pienso, piensas, piensa. Pensamos, pensáis, piensan. We use it just like any other verb. It just has an extra change. Okay? Now, the same is true with O to UE stem changers. For example, looking at your homework here for day 12, one of those was dormir, one of the all-time favorite words for every high school student. To sleep, right? So we have dormir. Now, dormir is an O to UE stem changer, right? So it's going to work just like the E to IEs, except in this case, it's an O that changes. And it changes to UE inside the boot. For example, Dormir means to sleep, so I sleep. Is duermo. I sleep is duermo. D-U-E. The O changes to U-E. In the tu form is duermes. The O changes to UE. The usted form is duerme. The O changes to UE. In nosotros, it doesn't change. Es dormimos. Vosotros doesn't change. It's dormís. See, the O doesn't change. And in ustedes, it changes again. Duermen. Again, notice the pattern. It's the boot. Right? Boot verbs. Now for day 13, you're going to have to do E to I stem changers. Okay? E to I stem changers. And again, they work the exact same way as the others, except the E changes to I in these. So looking at your homework, you have pedir, to ask for, or to order, like in a restaurant. Pedir is an E to I stem changer. Okay? That means that E in the stem is going to change to I inside the boot. For example, I ask for, or I order, is pido. Tú pides. Usted el ella pide. Nosotros pedimos. Doesn't change. Vosotros pedís. Doesn't change. And ustedes, ellos, ellas piden. And again, we talk about the boot. That's a really good looking boot too. Okay? Now that's how stem changing verbs work. What they mean, how they operate, how we use them. We use them just like any other verb. There's just an extra step with these. Now there is one on day 12 that I want to point out to you. And that's this verb, jugar. Now, jugar is special. Jugar is, we just don't want to leave it out. We don't want it to feel bad about itself. It's one of the very few that I can think of that actually do this. Jugar is actually a U to UE stem changer. It works just like the O to UEs, but since it's about the only one that does it, we lump it in with the O to UEs just so it has some friends. So, jugar means to play, everything except musical instruments. So for jugar, to play, we talk about juego. Right? The U changes to UE. For the tu form, juegas. For usted, él, ella, juega. But nosotros is jugamos. Right? It doesn't change. Vosotros jugáis. Again, it doesn't change. And then we have juega. Again, inside the boot, the U changes to UE. Okay? So that's all that's going on with stem changing verbs. They're not complicated. They're just like conjugating our regular normal verbs. The endings change just like they always have. The only difference is there's an extra step inside the stem. Again, if you have questions, get a hold of me through email or through Google Classroom, and I'll walk you through it. You all stay well out there.